Well, number one, I really appreciate the efforts that went in to get the 1980 team back. There was a lot of hard work there. Randy Whitman and Quinn Buckner and Isaiah Thomas, a lot of those guys that conversed over the course of time to make that happen was huge, but also the inclusion of Coach Knight meant a lot to those guys, and for us to be able to host them and have Coach Knight officially come through the doors was a big thing, and I think hopefully that makes those guys and everybody that's been a part of the long-standing tradition that only played here, coached here, and obviously all of our fans. Hopefully that makes some things go in a different direction moving forward. Continuing to tie things together. So very, very happy about that for those guys. Obviously very disappointed in our performance today. In that type of environment with our fans and crowd, it was really ready, and we got off to a decent start, but our turnovers in the first half really just killed momentum. And their run at the end of the half, was really just a deflating deal. To be able to come out at halftime and find a way to maybe score the ball a little bit, but not be able to get the stops, continued to be, the second half of the problem. But Purdue deserves credit, executed well. They got some guys stepping up right now and coming outside of maybe a tougher start. Wheeler's 3 threes to start the game. And you got some guys obviously at the right time of year, stepping up and playing well, making some plays. They got a lot of contributions. And, our offense in particular in the second half, when we needed it to be more efficient, wasn't. But give them a lot of credit. I'm disappointed for our players, I'm disappointed for our fans, I'm disappointed for everyone that came back for the reunion, and I'll take full responsibility on the loss today. For us, we have Iowa coming in here on Thursday, and Iowa's a terrific team. They're a team that, as you watch them play, has had an unbelievable year so far, and Luke Garza's a first-team All-American, but they have a slew of other guys that are playing well. So you're only as good as that next one, and today, as disappointing as it is, you have to find a way to be about the right things over the course of the next 3-4 days to give yourself a chance to play against another great team. And you know what? One way or another, you have to earn the right to break through. And, we're at home again on Thursday. We got to find a way to do that.
Go ahead.
How did you find out that Bob Knight was coming, and what was your reaction to hearing that he was going to be in the building?
Well, this game has been circled on the calendar for a long time. And, I think this was the goal for those guys to make this happen. And over the course of the last month or so, as the talks went, it looked like it was going to be favorable. But I think as this last week approached, I thought it was going to come down the line that hopefully cross your fingers that everything was able to work out. Coach able to come and see us and our team before the game today was really, really special. Having Pat here was really special. Karen wasn't in the locker room before the game, but I know she came as well. So that's a big step, and it means a lot to a lot of people. And like I said, I'm really, really happy for a lot of people they were able to experience that today.
Did you have any extended conversations with Coach Knight? And I'm curious too, how often you're reminded of the fact that you've got the job that Coach Knight once had, and you're sitting in that seat.
I was able to communicate with Coach Knight prior to the game as he arrived. And he was able to be in the locker room with us. Thanked him. Obviously thanked Pat, Randy Whitman as well. Meant a lot to those guys, but not extended conversation. And in terms of being the head coach in Indiana, I know Coach Knight was the coach here.
You mentioned the turnovers in kind of your opening statement. Why do you think this team is continuing to struggle in terms of taking care of the ball? I think it's now 3 straight with the turnover percentage over 20.
It's hard. I think there's some plays that you'd like to have back that are silly. There's some inexperience that happens as well, out there. We had 2 illegal screens today, 2 cross screens that were called illegal screens. Same play, called the same screen illegal both times. You don't see that very much in the Big Ten, an illegal cross screen, a small on big, but obviously that was the way it was going to be called. There's 2 right there. I think there was 2 on underneath out of bounds where they made a good play on it, and we had Race open under the basket. And then there's some sloppy play. The 10 turnovers, clearly played a huge role in the confidence level of how the game, the first half finished. But you got to be able to respond to that. We were down a couple weeks ago to Maryland after a tough first half. We're able to get right back in it. And it's 56-50 there with 9 to go, 9-8 to go. So we had our opportunities. Big and one by Harms on the pick and roll. Was able to knock that down and kind of that took the air out of the run. But no question about it, the turnovers continue to be a problem, and it's not like you're not talking about them, but you got to continue to work through it and get better.
I know it was by a slim margin, but you guys were out rebounded again today for a second game in a row. I mean, do you feel like you made progress at all in that way?
No, we're not rebounding at all right now. Offensive rebounding is non-existent, and then tough ones down the stretch. You can just, I think Purdue may have had 2 in a row, long ones. They just killed your head, And why, I don't know, other than the fact that, concentration, effort level on Purdue's part. They're the #1 offensive rebounding team in the league. They do it for a reason, so they got guys really going. At one point, it was a strength of ours. Right now, it's not. And, if you just say, hey, how do you get better? Rebound the ball better and take care of it. We're a better team. And that's what it's going to come down to.
Last question.
When you think about Bob Knight and his Indiana teams, what stands out to you and what can you do to try and maybe replicate some of that?
Coach Knight's teams played with amazing execution, role definition, and I think over the course of his time, you watch guys really develop, within the framework of his system and style. Guys as freshmen or red shirts become All-Americans as they get older. So there's a development component of it, but there's just such an amazing amount of execution and role definition where the right guys took the right shots and the right guys set the right screens, and in his own way had an opportunity to really develop, that type of belief in what they do works. As a coach, I think that's what you're looking for the most, is to develop that belief in one another where guys believe in each other. And at times you can see that our team has played well, and at times, clearly we haven't, but there's a lot of ball left to be played, and Big Ten's so difficult. Every night's an opportunity for a great win. And I think that's what it's got to become about here in the next few weeks. It's not about the doom and gloom. Yeah, it stinks, and yeah, you're really disappointed, and it makes you sick. But the doom and the gloom's got to go away as soon as possible, because the next one's coming right down the line, and that's a great opportunity as well against Iowa. And that's what's going to be the separator of our team and the rest of the teams in the league, is who continues to find a way to just plug along, play through it, find a way. I think you got to give Purdue a lot of credit. Looking at their win at Northwestern, the way they've played against Iowa, now they've gotten this one. They found a way to plug through it and gotten themselves a situation where they're playing really well with the back 3 or 4 weeks. So we have to find our niche, and we have to find our way. We're going to have to earn it. Our players are going to have to earn it. Our staff's going to have to earn it. We're going to have to earn our way to the finish line, because I think everybody knows that no one gives you a whole lot in this conference right now, and everyone's playing for a great deal of pride, and there's a lot at stake when it comes to postseason. So for us, it's not about any of that. It's about finding a way to enjoy this thing a little bit. When it gets miserable when you're losing, at the same time, man, it's got to find another way to get right up off that mat and respond. And we need some guys to respond on Thursday.
All right, Coach, thank you.